Hey guys, Cal from Team ChainBlock here, and today I'm going to be showcasing another deck profile here today. It's one of my favorite archetypes. Before we get into it, make sure you check out all of our links in the description. Check out our trading group, and also check out Kong's cards and use ChainBlock 5 for 5% off everything. Obviously, the most recent set as of release is the Infinite Forbidden. You need to get your hands on them Fiend Spit cards. Get ready for your WCQ experience. Where you can get yourself a lovely discount as well. But yeah, today I'm profiling one of my favorite archetypes, Gimmick puppets. Love the aesthetic, love the creepy doll aesthetic, and just being able to spam out Xyz monsters and kind of pop off is great. So yeah, getting straight into the main deck now. I am proxying for one card that Jonathan has for me. I haven't gotten a chance to go down and get it off him yet. But straight into it, starting off with the Gimmick Puppet Monsters, we're going with the new card, Gimmick Puppet Little Soldiers. So basically, what this one is on a normal or special, sends a Gimmick Puppet with a different level to the graveyard, and then basically increases level by that amount, and then when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, and then increase up to 2 Gimmick Puppet Monsters on the field's levels by 4. Very good card, really great as a starter. It's a 1-card starter, or it can act as an extender. I'll explain on how good the extension will actually come in later on. And then another card that we're using as a starter. A lot of people like wish and wash between the ratios for this, but I opt to play 2 copies of Gimmick Puppet Scissor Arms. I opt to play 2 because we have so many different ways to get to different starters in this deck. Like multiple different foolishes and searches and stuff like that, and the fact that the field spell makes it so your opponent is pretty much like helpless when you do normal summon, and you kind of just pop off in whatever way you feel like. But yeah, so I have to play 2 Scissor Arms, and basically it's on normal summon, it's a foolish, just sends a game puppet from the deck to the graveyard. The exact same thing, utility as Little Soldiers does, just having extra copies of it pretty much. Now, typically what you're sending if you don't open it is one of your 3 copies of the Gimmick Puppet Rogue Doll. This card is insane. So basically how it would work is if you say summon Scissor Arms, you dump this one, and this effect will go off saying that if it's sent to the graveyard, regardless, add it back to your hand. Granted, you can only use it once per turn. Obviously, that'd be busted. But then you can reveal it in your hand. And you can reveal this in the hand, then reveal 1 card from the X-Deck, and summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from the deck with a level equal to the revealed monster's rank, and then special summon this card as well. So typically, to get your play started, if you open this, you kind of get your way to Little Soldiers by special summoning this, and then getting the Fool or something else. So that's the utility that we kind of come in clutch for. And then being able to recycle stuff back from the graveyard when you send it is great as well. Next up, we have 2 copies of Gimmick Puppet Cattle Scream. Now, Cattle Scream is busted. So when it's in the graveyard or hand, you can detach an Xyz material from one of your Xyz monsters and special summon this card. But banish it, you just have to banish it then when it leaves the field. It doesn't really come up too often because obviously using its Xyz material. So, and then when it's a material, the monster that it's equipped, that it's a part of, gets the effect that once per turn you can target a monster your opponent's graveyard and special summon it to my opponent's field. So it kind of breaks into the kind of gimmicky play that this deck plays, by spamming your opponent's field with monsters and then just kind of blowing them up and burning your opponent. So that effect does come up sometimes as well. And next we're playing the one-offs. We have 1 copy of Terror Baby, 1 copy of Bisque Doll, and 1 copy of Dreary Doll. So these ones are the one-offs. These 2 is what you're trying to aim to get into the graveyard ASAP, because this one basically makes that your Gimmick Puppet monsters are spell speed 4, they can't be responded to, and this one makes so your opponent can't target your Gimmick Puppets when you activate their effects. So you have to banish each of them. So banish this, spell speed 4, banish this, your Gimmick Puppets can't be targeted. And then Dreary Doll, if you've never read it before, it's one of the better ones. You can banish a Gimmick Puppet from the graveyard, special summon this card from the graveyard, and then just kind of pop off, using it as Xyz material and stuff. Now for the best card I've ever seen printed into an archetype. 3 copies of Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. This card is a custom Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's actually insane. So basically, if you haven't heard this before, it's on activation. You search for 1 Gimmick Puppet monster, but that's not the busted part, right? If they ask that, cool beans, it's alright. What makes this card busted is that while it's on the field, all your Gimmick Puppet monsters are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's non-Xyz monsters. So they drop a nib on you. Cool, nice. You tribute your own monsters. Well done, lad. If they haven't got any monsters to tribute, they can't activate Nibiru. And then it has another effect as well that comes up if you're doing the FDK, which revives a Xyz monster from your graveyard to either player's field. So typically you summon it to your opponent's field and you can pop off from there. But busted Yu-Gi-Oh card. I don't know how we got away with printing this card. I don't feel like my puppets are safe though. And then to go along with the mansion, we play the 1 Terraforming, just to search it off. And then we have 3 copies of Condolence Puppet, and to go along with it, the 1 copy of Foolish Burial. If you haven't read this card, basically says send Gimmick Puppet monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls that are special from the extra deck +1. And then you can banish it from the graveyard, target the machine Xyz monster you control. It can't be destroyed by opponent's card effects while it's face up on the field, and then that's not really the important part. The important part is you're activating this because it's basically a Foolish. If you're going first, you still get the Foolish 1, which is all you really need because you usually send the Rogue Doll, and the Rogue Doll gets you the full combo, and then Foolish Burial is just Foolish Burial. Does the exact same thing. Here is the card I'm Proxen. So this is supposed to be a rank up Magic Argent Chaos Force. Yeah, I just need to collect mine off Jonathan. And here's another thing. And I have good reason for this. So with Fantasix, he detaches 1 to search for a rank up Magic card. But the thing is, he has to be able to search for the rank up Magic card to be able to get your additional normal summon. So turns out I run 2. And I think the other best option to run is the rank up Magic Numeron Force. I don't see anyone really playing this card, and I don't understand why. Because it's basically the exact same as Argent Chaos Force. Obviously you can't recycle it as much as the Argent Chaos Force, but this card going second is busted. Giving you another target to be able to search off Fantasix, so then you get your additional normal summon if you open the Argent already. And then also being able to rank up into a number C monster with the same type as the monster that you control, but 1 rank higher. And then when it hits the field, if there's any other face-up monsters on the field, it just negates them all. So it's basically just a Dark Ruler as well. So I really advise anyone who's planning on playing Game Puppets, play this card. Because I genuinely do believe that this card's going to catch on in the future. And I do think that this card is nuts for this archetype. Next, we play the 1 of Service Puppet Play. The only reason we play this is because it's searchable. If it wasn't searchable, we wouldn't play it. So next we're getting on to like non-engine and stuff. So we start with the 3 Triple Tactics Thrust. And then I suppose just to go with it, we play the 1 Talents. So this is this adds an extra layer to this deck as well, because when you summon out cards to your opponent's field, they have an automatic on summon trigger effect that has to activate, regardless if you have any cards with string counters or not. The Dark Strings has to activate if you put it on your opponent's field. So this will always be live, and you can always activate the card that turn. And typically what you're searching off it is either Triple Tactics if you have the full combo already, or you can search for Terraforming to get to your field spell. And then obviously Tactic Talents is Tactic Talents. Everyone knows what that card does already. And then for the hand traps, we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Effect Veiler, 2 copies of Nibiru, 2 copies of Infinite Permanence, 3 copies of Droplet, and the 1 copy of Call by the Grave. I just think that all these hand traps are just kind of staples, to be honest with you. It's what hits more cards in the game right now. If the format changes for a draw format, you'll play draw instead. But yeah, I just feel like these are the best cards to play. And the reason we play Forbidden Droplets as well is because if we send Rogue Doll or some of the other ones, we can get some extra extenders as well, while also getting some negates. So it's quite good. So that's it for the main deck. We'll go for the extra deck next. And here in the extra deck, it's really up to interpretation on how you would like to play the deck. But we're starting off, we play 1 Fantasics and 2 Fanatics. So these are the 2 new cards of the deck. They don't really, you don't really need to play 2 of this one. Once I get my second copy of this, I haven't pulled the second copy yet. I just kind of got 1 box so far. But if I pull the second copy of this, one of these is probably going to get cut for one of these. I was looking at other cards in this extra that I think should be cut, and I really just can't warrant most of them. I'll tell you exactly which one would probably be the one I'd cut other than these. But even then, thinking about it, I probably wouldn't even bother cutting it. But next we play 3 copies of Gimmick, Puppet of the Dark Strings. This card is essential to your combo. If you're going for an FTK, it's brutal to your opponent. Like, this card punishes your opponent so much for not having any hand traps. Getting the extra draw is really nice as well, and then being able to summon it to your opponent's field. And this is the card that triggers on summon. On summon, it just activates to destroy as many monsters on the field with the string counter, as possible, and then draw a card. But the thing is, when it hits the board, there's nothing on the field with string counters, so it's just going to activate and just not resolve. But that's all you need, because then you can just resolve your talents and your thrust as you see fit. Then we have 3 copies of Gimmick, Puppet, Strings, and this is probably the other card I'd cut down. If I was to cut down another card, it'd probably be the Gimmick, Puppet, Strings. Just cut one of these for another Fantasics. Other than that, I kind of like having the 3 though, because it's an easy board breaker as well, because you use up one of them in your combo. So being able to have that grind game and just be able to make another one of these late game and just pop off on your opponent is crazy. The 1 Gimmick, Puppet, Giant Grinder. This card is hilarious when it hits the board, because you just spam your opponent's field with like 2 or 3 Xyz monsters, and then before they know it, you just go into this and you just look at them dead in the eyes and goes, "You're dead, fam." So unfortunate. Gimmick, Puppet, Giant Hunter. This is the chaos version of this one. We don't go into it very often, but it's nice to have just in case you're going second. Gigantus Doll. This card's shite. I wouldn't want to play it if it wasn't for the fact that it's a rank 4, so I can summon soldiers from the deck off Rogue Doll. 1 Gimmick, Puppet of Leo. This card, most people don't run this card. If you're trying to play it as competitively as possible, don't run this one. Run anything else. You can run Typhon in this deck or something. I only play this because it's going to be hilarious sitting on this in the field spell and just watching as everyone counts how many counters are getting put on this, and then you're dead. 1 Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, because it's an Xyz deck, and then 2 copies of Gimmick, Puppet, Chimera Doll. The ultimate Link monster, I think. This, I think, is the single best Link monster for an archetype. This card, so when it hits the field, during your main phase, if you control this Link Summoned card, it has to be Link Summoned to activate this effect, but you can dump or add to hand any Gimmick Puppet monster, and especially summon a Gimmick Puppet from the hand. So that is insane. That's insane. It has another effect. I haven't read it yet. It never comes up. The only reason you're really playing this is to access the FTK, if you can get that far. And then I'll go into my side deck options, and I'll explain why. Obviously, I'm side decking this stuff. I played 3 copies of Draw and Lockbird. I'm siding this card. Even though it's not great in the format, it's amazing against specifically Yubel, and that deck, I don't know why. I don't know how, but I just can't beat that deck for some reason. So I'm just kind of throwing everything I have at it until something works. And I heard that this card is very good against it. Don't know how it is, but I'm sure I'll find out. 2 copies of Ghost Mourner Moonlit Chill. This is specifically because Veiler and Imperm are good in this format, so what I'll probably tend to do is just cut out a couple of cards from the main deck, slap these in. If I have to go second into time, I'll just throw these in, and hopefully I can stall out my opponent to the point where I can win on time. And then 2 Jewis Worm and 1 Bistio Magnimo. I just think these are kind of crazy, this format. Being able to hit the new Fiendsmith cards and stuff with it is very nice, and being able to hit some of the cards like the, what are they called? The new Toy Soldier and Toy Tank and stuff. Being able to hit them in White Forest is very, very handy. 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I actually mainly play these 2 for both Tenpai and the mirror match, because it's not very nice playing against the mirror match. So being able to pop their field spell is very, very handy. The 3rd Nibiru, because it comes up in some matchups. 2 Evenly Matched, because it's evenly matched. And then I played the 2 more copies of Rank Up Magic Numeron Force. And obviously this is for going second. If I slap this down on the field, I kind of want to see this in hand, because I can just kind of trigger this one first, and my opponent has to respond to it, or else all they wants to negate it. And that's basically it. Anything else, please let me know. If you have any ideas I should add into the deck, if you have any ideas for ratios I think I should change, open to criticism. I'm hoping I've built this deck as nice as I can build it, because I've got a bit of slack now for a couple of deck profiles. I admit that they haven't been the best built, but look, I'm learning. I'm not the best deck builder, I admit that. That probably resides with Sean Kinsley. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and check out Kong's cards, obviously. And peace.